I've been shooting all these videos, and I totally forgot about my thumbnails. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? They look alright. I think I'm good. Just kidding. We're gonna be shooting some thumbnails today. YouTube thumbnails. Small puppy. Hi, Bella. Hey guys, and welcome back for another episode of Draw with T / Draw with Tay. This is probably going to be a running thing for a very, very long time. Anyways, I'm Tegan, and today's episode is getting kind of meta. So in at least one other episode earlier, I mentioned that basically how I do these videos is I just shoot what I'm going to draw anyways. I basically have just put a camera on me as I draw. Sorry guys, but I'm not drawing anything really special for you, at least not at this point. I'm just drawing the things I'd be drawing anyways. So today, I'm doing thumbnails of my YouTube thumbnails, and I find that absolutely hilarious. I love a good pun, and being able to say, I'm thumbing my YouTube thumbnails. I'm thumbing thumbnails. It's great. It's great. I'm probably the only one who cares about it. But hey, if we got any punsters here, you know, write me your best pun in the comments, because I am always looking for new material to torture my friends with. Back on topic. So, just in case you guys use other terminology or you've never heard the term before, a thumbnail in terms of drawing is a tiny, tiny little image you do. It's a quick doodle that you do of an idea you have. So instead of investing 10 hours into like a 10 by 17 piece of art, you start off by just doing a little 2 by 3 inch doodle of what you think that 11 by 17 poster or whatever would be. It applies to basically anything that you want to draw. So like even a tiny, tiny little YouTube thumbnail is worthy of doing a series of thumbnails. And basically what you're trying to do here is just pump out, depending on the project and you know who your client is. Client could even be yourself. You basically just want to do like, I don't know, 3 to 1 million thumbnails until you find that idea that works perfectly. Because again, your first drawing, your first concept is often not your best. I mean, let's look at that first thing I did in the upper left. You can't really understand what it is, but it's basically the left-hand side of the screen would be my sketchbook. The lower right remainder would be, you know, say Draw with T, or, you know, just whatever the episode title is. And then above that would be like the image. Of course, some of you might like that more than the current thumbnails I have, but I didn't really like it. And the other thing with thumbnails is, honestly, they're only meant to be understandable by you. Nobody else. They're just quick things you do, little notes, visual notes of what ideas you could do. So for this episode, I'm basically drawing an entire page of 1:1 scale thumbnails. It was not fun for me at the time because I was very sleep deprived. Last episode, the episode of gesture drawings, that was what I did before I sat down to do this. And as you may have seen, that day there was a snowstorm. It was 6 days in the autumn, and there was a frickin' snowstorm. And okay, yeah, I live in Canada, but not in a part of Canada where this is normal. I mean, it is kind of normal, but, you know, the area I live in is basically like, I don't know, it's chaotic weather. I mean, it could be April and you get a snowstorm. You never know what you're gonna get, but anytime it's snow, we're not happy. Outside of maybe Christmas time. Christmas time, we're allowed snow, but any other time, I don't like it. Rant aside, miserable weather when we shouldn't have miserable weather makes me a little bit miserable, needless to say. So while I was doing this, I was not really in a good mood. I was getting frustrated with what I was drawing. Really shouldn't have been, you know. I bet my advice to people who are just getting into this, or anybody who gets really emotional about their process, is try and be objective at this phase. Like, you're gonna have days where you just irrationally hate what you do. This was one of those days for me. Like, any other day, me pumping out a page of thumbnails would be good, but, you know, was just not into it this day. And you can kind of, I like how in this shoot, you can kind of see me thinking, like how I just tapped my fingers there. Earlier, I think I was twiddling my pencil or, looking on the internet. And again, that's why we have this less than stellar camera angle, is I needed to reference, I believe, Pinterest and YouTube. One of my frustrations with doing this is I thought I had a good amount of reference material to look at. And then when I looked, I had like 3 things, and none of them really worked for what I was doing. I thought I'd have this YouTube thumbnail thing down pat. In fact, I was like, I don't even know if this is video worthy. I'm probably going to do 8 little drawings and I'll find the one and I'll move on. Just because I didn't want to spend hours and hours and hours coming up with the perfect thumbnail. I am a perfectionist, and I'm currently in a phase of my life where I'm getting really tired of how I'll do 2 things and my non-perfectionist friends will like pump out 10 things, and they'll get more recognition for it and get ahead because they're doing and I'm not doing. So, part of this whole YouTube thing, why I'm not getting picky, why I'm not scripting stuff and all that, is I'm trying to get rid of that perfectionism that plagues me. But in the end, this took a whole page, and I was almost going to do a second page until I had a talk with a friend of mine, and she set me straight, reminded me, hey, you said you weren't going to be a perfectionist about this, you just need to pick one and move on, and I did. And you guys obviously get to see the end result of what I picked. I had picked it out for the first batch of episodes I did. So, let me know what you think. I'm not the most happy with what I picked, but I'm more displeased with the images in the template, because I'm doing sketches, so of course I don't want to lie to you guys about what content's in the videos. If I'm just sketching, you're just basically gonna get a sketch. And when I do color stuff, I'll use color thumbnails. But until then, my advertising's kind of working against me here. I don't want to lie to you guys, and I don't really have a means or a desire to be doing digital art right now. Well, I have, I always have the desire, but I'm just not working on anything digital quite yet at the moment. I'm enjoying working in my sketchbook. It's kind of a break for me from just doing a lot of digital stuff and digital sketching. I love my sketchbooks. If you can't tell by now, I keep talking about blah 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 finishing 4 in a year. This is going to be one of the rare years where I finish 4 in a year. That's gone up from finishing 2 a year, which I thought was slow. Back in college, my last year of college, year 4, I was pumping through them way too fast. I was filling up like one sketchbook every 5 weeks. That was the math. So the first semester I had 4 done, and I think in the second semester I had 4 done? Yeah, something like that. And they're I was drawing on both sides of a big Moleskine sketchbook. So it's not a tiny sketchbook. So yeah, I was quite proud of myself. And it's nice to kind of be getting back to that. But, the rate I was going at college was kind of unhealthy. And, sometimes it was just me making, that sort of make work stuff where it's you need to do more thumbnail exploration. So it's okay, well, I found the concept I'm happy with, and, I know the viewer in mind for what I'm doing, but sure, I'll do some more thumbnails just for the sake of make work. I don't really do that so often anymore. I do draw prolifically, though. Yeah, so, here I am just kind of struggling through ideas. If you guys have any ideas for different thumbnail layout you'd like, let me know. I'm totally just playing around here. The one caveat I have is, don't tell me to make unique, beautiful thumbnails for each video I do, because I just don't have time to spend, an hour coming up with ideas and an hour executing it when I'm, trying to produce content for, 2, maybe up to 3 episodes a week. I've got lots and lots of other stuff to do. I think I kind of work 50 to 60 hours a week. Not money work, but, I'm an artist, right? I've got multiple avenues of stuff I'm doing. Very few of them pay incredibly well, but I'm still like starting out my journey here. There you can see I just kind of sat and stared at the computer for a bit trying to figure out what to do next. Once you kind of drain out the first 5 to 10 ideas, that's kind of when you gotta start getting creative and doing weird stuff. I know for this process I was looking at how some other art YouTubers did their stuff, and I kind of copied their layout. I had no intention of ripping anybody off wholesale, but I was basically thinking of what would happen if I overlaid this, very clean, prestigious artist's look over my scrappy little sketches. Oh gee, no surprise that didn't work, but there's something nice about how the element, is confined to this part of the page. Or how about this person that doesn't even show the art at all? What else could I show? Or, should I, instead of showing my face, should it be my sketchbook cover? Because eventually sketchbook 32 is going to be filled up and we're going to have a new star of the show, which is hopefully going to be prettier, but, no guarantees there. And just stuff like that, combining ideas. And then one thing I had to consider for this that made it a little hard was I had to think about what content do I have to display in the thumbnail? What size will it be? Like how small, how big? Right now, how YouTube does it is they use the tiny thumbnails as obviously the front for your video, but then when you click on it, they stretch it up nice and big, and that kind of is there until you hit play on the video. So, that's hard as a designer, because when you design something that's, maybe an inch by 3/4 of an inch, forgive me, my imperial measurements aren't the greatest, imagine taking your YouTube thumbnail, blowing it up as a big image and sticking it on your wall. Suddenly the words are too big and the image is too zoomed in. You have all this room where you could have a more detailed image of what you do, and that's kind of a hard thing to design for. But I leaned more towards making it obviously palatable, or, very nice and viewable from like a tiny thumbnail, because I don't think anybody's gonna care how it looks when it's blown up, waiting for you to hit play. I'm sure some people will judge me based on that, but those are also the people that have deemed me not worthy of their views because I'm using a camera that does grainy 720, and I don't have a light box, and I don't have a nice fancy sound equipment set up, so. Thanks to you guys if you've, watched all the episodes up until now. You're a real trooper. I was expecting no views on any of this. Day one, I thought, gee, you know what? I'd like 7 views on my first video going live in the first week, and then I totally understand if everything after that, maybe gets 1 view a month by some stranger, and I'm just gonna be doing this for, I don't know, a year, 2 years, forever? I don't know. I have no anticipation of this taking off anywhere, me getting famous from this. So I'm just having fun, man. There's something magical about recording yourself doing art. This is the first time I've seen myself doing a design process thing. I'm literally watching myself think. It's kind of cool. Also a little weird. Yeah. What do you guys think of this? Do you guys do thumbnails? Do you have a different name for it? Yeah, here you can see I'm getting really minimal now. Oh yeah, I didn't really talk about the information I had to display here. So I was like, okay, yeah, I want, let's have the name of the episode, obviously. Let's have a little number to denotate which episode it is, and then I guess it also needs to say, Draw with Tay or Draw with T. That's kind of the series name. Yeah, so, and suddenly that's a lot of words you gotta stick in, a wee tiny area. Look how tiny these drawings are, and that's probably 90 to 100%, maybe 110% the size of a thumbnail. And do I think that the Badaboom, or what is it, Baboom, the typeface that I used with the pink and purple strokes on the blue is the best look for these black and white sketches? No, I really don't. But I have a very, very, very weak spot for comic style typefaces. And I think it used to match my art a lot more in the past, and maybe it kind of matches my finished art, but my sketches, it does seem a bit premature. But I thought about doing some kind of like sketchy little words, and then I thought, you know what, sketchy words on white in a white thumbnail on a white background of YouTube is just going to get drowned out. So let's take a chance, let's be bold, let's use these eye gouging candy colors that I love. And, let's just see. I mean, it's the worst thing that can happen. People aren't gonna watch it. I mean, the chances of people watching my stuff to begin with is, tiny. I mean, if this was 2006, yeah, I'd probably get a lot of views. People would be like, oh my gosh, you're so pro. Look how many videos you're putting out a week. I mean, back that 2006 is a very long time ago. That was the proper Wild West YouTube. I don't even know how people would find me. I don't even know, I'd be hailed as some kind of cool person. I'd be inventing podcasts or something. That's a bit early, but this time, 10 years later, well, I guess 2016, so, 13 years later, YouTube's got a lot of polished stuff to it. It's like TV's finally just moved on to YouTube. You got all this polished stuff put out by highly trained professional teams of people with thousands of dollars worth of equipment, editors, graphic artists, motion graphic artists, everything you need to do a polished production every week. Even, faster turnaround than TV. And then there's me. An overworked, poor artist who's now just pointed a 7-year-old Sony Cybershot at the stuff I was doing anyways and just putting it up there in the world. Circa 2009 YouTube up in here. Do you think if I keep doing this for long enough, it'll get so hipster and cool that it'll come back around? I'm kind of interested in seeing if that happens, but anyways, this is the last thumbnail, so let me know how you guys liked this episode. I know it probably wasn't all that great to watch, but if it was, hey, let me know. I'm really interested. I don't get much attention or comments or anything. And let's do a big old pan shoot. What's the word? Zoom in. Let's do a zoom in of this. Yeah. So like I said, thumbnails are mainly for the artists. So what you're looking at's really not really intended for client eyes. I would draw something nicer after this, but it's just for me, so I know what it's gonna look like, so I just moved on to the final product. But here's all my ideas. Let me know if there was one that could have been better than the one I picked. Maybe I'll change it. Who knows? Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate the views, especially at this point. We're hitting we're going past episode 5. I didn't think that was a thing that would happen, so thanks for your support. Please like, comment, subscribe. Every individual person means a lot to me, And have a good day. See you in the next episode.